Corey, Billy, Pat, Yvonne, Austin and I, that's John, started our adventure at Reno Airport on Monday evening on the 30th of December. We had breakfast at Orlando Airport, and as you can see, we left our marks. In Miami, I just had to check out one of my favorite Scotch drinks, Johnny Walker Blue Label. Approximately 1,200 miles from Miami in a southeasterly direction are the US Virgin Islands. Within these islands, located just 2.5 miles from Red Hook on St. Thomas and about 1.5 miles from Cruz Bay on St. John, is Lovango Cay. Leroy picked us up at the airport, and after picking up some groceries at the food center in Red Hook, we boarded Dan's boat Sea Biscuit and cruised over to Lovango and the Love Shack. Oh, and to Papa's Place, which is also known as Nanny's B&B, and various other names. Pat and I settled into the cottage, while the rest got comfortable in the big house. The first order of business was to make sure that Yvonne didn't hurt herself like she did on her last visit a year ago. So we covered her in bubble wrap. In the evening, Yvonne prepared a spaghetti feast for us. Pat and I settled in for a nice quiet evening while the others headed over to St. John to celebrate the arrival of 2014.
Okay.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Goodbye!
Did you undo the lock?
New Year's Day 2014 was a relaxing day. Everybody just sat around and took it easy. Thursday the 2nd. Guess what? Another relaxing day. But Yvonne and I did take a little stroll along the beach and did a bit of exploring. Yvonne is standing in front of the old Smith cottage. Obviously, it's no longer lived in. Dan is hoping the Smith family will provide the finances and give him the okay to renovate it. Today, we did start the palm tree reforestation project. We did go over to St. John in the afternoon and had pizza at Ronnie's. I have to say, it was the best pizza I've ever had. We had a nice sunrise on Friday, and Yvonne joined us for our morning cuppa. This is olive oil, and this is Eeyore. These are Dan's dogs, and they love to visit us while he's away working or taking out a charter group on his boat. We were more active today, and Billy, Corey, Yvonne and I went over to St. John and hiked the Lynn Point Trail. This is Solomon Beach. Beautiful white sand, turquoise water, and nearly deserted. There are no roads that lead to it. This is a shot of Lovango Cay from Solomon Beach. It's no more than a mile away. Here are a few shots that we took while we were at Solomon. Half a mile or so along the trail is Honeymoon Beach. It can be reached by a short walk from Canal Bay Resort, and it's a popular place for day trippers to St. John. After returning from our hike, Yvonne went grocery shopping for coconuts. She became quite an expert at taking off the husks and draining the milk for our cocktails. The meat became part of our afternoon snack tray, and I can attest to the fact that it tasted really good. Saturday, January the 4th. While making our morning cup of tea, I noticed that this water toy had landed on our beach. We thought it had got loose from a boat at first, but it turned out it belonged to the people at the eastern end of the island. As far as I can recall, this was just another one of those relaxing Lovango days. Oh yes, I did watch Arsenal beat Tottenham 2-0 in the third round of the FA Cup. As we were having problems with the Wi-Fi, I had to watch it on Billy's iPhone. In the afternoon, Billy and Corey made a run over to St. John to pick up some groceries. I don't think it was quite as choppy as this. After breakfast on Sunday, Yvonne and I took a stroll along part of the western shoreline. I came across this interesting formation that we nicknamed Duck. I also brought back some flowers for Pat. Yvonne also found a koozie washed up on the beach that had survived from the wedding. For the rest of Sunday, Pat and I took it easy and caught up on some reading. In the afternoon, the rest of the group headed over to Francis Bay to celebrate Alison's birthday. On their way there, they toured along the north shore of St. John and saw a turtle and some dolphins. This is Alison. She lives on Lovango with Captain Phil. Here are a few shots that they took while they were at the picnic on Francis Bay. Sunrise, Monday the 6th of January.
Been here 6 days. The waves are still coming in, the waves are still going out.
Pat decided to have tea in bed this morning rather than on the porch. I'd mentioned at the beginning of the video that our accommodations had various names. These included Kim's Cottage, Scottage, Fry Frontage, and Nate's Nest, Ray's Rest. Not to be outdone, I went in search of some appropriate material to lay my claim to the title of this property. For some reason, my first choice of Popper's condominium was met with much opposition, so it had to be removed. There was no objection to my second choice of Popper's Place, but there was some concern over where I decided to hang my shingle, and it had to be relocated. In hindsight, this should have been Popper's Porch. Apparently, Olive Oil and Eeyore wanted to join us for our afternoon and evening activities. Tonight, Pat was the big winner at Boulder Dash. Pre-dawn on Tuesday the 7th. Sunrise is about 6:15 this time of year. Today, Billy, Corey, Yvonne and Austin went over to St. John to hike the Reef Bay Trail. The 2.4 mile trail descends from Centerline Road to Reef Bay. The side trip to the petroglyphs adds around 0.6 miles for a total of around 3 miles. The hike is organised by the National Park Service and costs $35 per person. This includes transportation from the park headquarters in Cruise Bay to the trailhead on Centerline Road, as well as a boat ride back from Reef Bay. More about the hike in a minute. After they'd left for their hike, we had breakfast in the Love Shack and then went for a stroll along the beach. So as not to overexert ourselves, we took a rest stop at the Drink and Go bar. In the afternoon, the dogs joined us and Eeyore decided to make himself comfortable on the porch. Dan had made arrangements with Corey to show the property to a group of realtors who were having a convention on St. John. Now back to the hike. Here they are, waiting for the jitney to take them to the trailhead. The hike begins. The millipede, or gongola as the islanders call it, excretes an iodine-like substance that can blind you. At one time the natives used it as an anesthetic. This is the golden orb spider. Partway along the trail they visited the ruins of the Jose Gut sugar plantation. This is a locust tree, or a silk cotton tree as it's sometimes called. A short trip took them to the petroglyphs. They're thought to be Taino carvings from pre-Columbian times. Time for a rest stop at the sacred pool. The Reef Bay Sugar Factory is located at the end of the trail. The remains are in excellent condition. These are the best preserved plantation buildings on the island. This is the steam-powered cane crusher. These are the boiling pots where the cane juice will be boiled down into raw sugar called muscovado. Yvonne and Billy cool off while they wait for their transportation back to Cruise Bay. And here it is, the Sadie Sea. One of the things that I was really looking forward to on this trip was a visit to Woody's for a drink and some conch fritters. Would you believe that on their way back they visited there without coming over and picking me up? We had a gorgeous sunrise on Wednesday. Today was the exciting Lovango crab races, a two-heat event that pitched the best 6 crabs on the island against each other. Here the officials are preparing the obstacle course for the first round. 3 of the crabs pose for the official photo take.
Oh, mine made it out right past the stick. My guy's getting tired.
Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. They're going up the track. That's John's Krabby following Patty's Pussy.
Excuse me, Herbie's resting.
We're now in the final round
Second
of
heat now, and we add them together.
the second heat of the
Top 2 get
Lovango. Nanny's crab's really out.
Billy's the love crab was the undisputed winner. After all that excitement, it was time to relax. Tonight was our big night out. We went over to St. John and had dinner at the banana deck. I'd take a guess that Billy really enjoyed her dessert. And maybe Yvonne enjoyed hers even more. One of the challenges we had when going ashore was to get Pat into and out of the dinghy. Fortunately, tonight was calm and she didn't have any problems. When we got back, I took a dip off the end of the jetty to swim with the tarpon. Much to everyone's surprise, a spotted eagle ray decided to join me. Unfortunately, we didn't get a shot of the two of us swimming together, but this is what it looks like. Guess what? Thursday the 9th was another relaxing day. The highlight was seeing a beautiful double rainbow in the afternoon. At 6 a.m. on Friday, Austin said bye-bye to Lovango, and Corey and I took him over to Red Hook on St. Thomas in the dinghy. We took the scenic route back via Thatch, Grass, Mingo, Congo Keys, and Carvel and Murder Rock. In the afternoon, I visited the Smith family cemetery that's located a few yards to the west of Corey's property. During our stay, the ladies had been very active in putting this jigsaw together. But now it was time to relax. Yes, Yvonne, it's Saturday the 11th, and it is our last full day on Lovango. After breakfast, Yvonne, Corey, Billy and I decided to do a bit of exploration. We ended up going to the western tip of the island where the Caribbean Sea and Atlantic Ocean meet. Here are a few shots that we took as we made our way along the coastline. It looks as though Eeyore's ready to take a little dip. Here are a couple of photos he took while he was snorkeling. Pat wasn't just sitting around while all today's activities were going on. She was very busy staking her claim to the cottage. As Evelyn just can't seem to get settled in one place, she laid claim to everywhere. Good night, Pat. Get a good night's sleep, as we'll be up at 4 a.m. to start our journey back to Reno. As it turned out, we were awake most of the night listening to the rain and the waves smashing on the shore. Fortunately, it was much calmer in the morning as Billy and Corey took Yvonne, Pat and I over to Red Hook. Leroy was waiting for us and took us to the airport to catch our flights back to Reno. As usual, my bag did not arrive and I found it on the doorstep 2 days later. Billy and Corey now had the Love Shack all to themselves for the next 8 days. I'm sure they missed the three of us and didn't know what to do with themselves. They did make a trip over to St. John one day. This is island freeways and island traffic jams. I wonder if Corey's looking at buying this and mooring it at the end of the jetty. Can you name the islands? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. They also made a couple of trips over to St. John. I'm not sure if this is a utility worker or somebody who's on a shopping spree. On Saturday the 18th, they had a romantic dinner at Morgan's Mango. They celebrated their 1-year wedding anniversary with champagne on the dock before returning home to Reno on Monday the 20th.